Step 4. Research the funding options. Providing good quality play equipment is a big investment, and it's important to remember that the cost of a great play area extends beyond just the equipment prices. There's also the installation, the groundworks, landscaping and surfacing costs to take into consideration. There are numerous funding bodies out there, all with their own aim, objectives and implementation criteria. You need to do thorough research and choose funding streams that are most appropriate for your dream play area.
So the next stage, of course, was to find the money. A parish council doesn't have a huge budget, so this money was going to have to be found elsewhere, basically. That was one of the biggest challenges, I think.
Our highly skilled team always has to keep an awareness of the most successful and likely funding sources for our customer base.
Our project's gone on for 4.5 years. It should have been done in 2, but because of our situation and how we found, our problems in the project, they supported us and kept with us and came up with suggestions and ideas. And yes, couldn't afford them. So I'm really relieved actually with our project that we have Proludic and we didn't have anyone else.
At Proludic, it's really important for our team to be aware of both local and national funding opportunities.
This is an example of a project that I've recently completed. We basically looked from a sort of national level and a local level. We looked into different sort of crowdfunding platforms. So example, things like Space Hive, where it enables the client to raise small pots of money but from a large amount of people, and it's on a national scale as well, so it increases the visibility of the project. We also looked at the big lottery funding. So this ranges from up to 10,000 for Awards for All, which is a very quick turnaround on a budget of 10,000. Over the 10,000, there's a different sort of criteria, but it funds much larger projects and it's perfectly in line with delivering play or outdoor sports areas. We also looked at local landfill sites, so this could be Veolia and Biffa. They have a really good sort of community responsibility and they recognise the local projects that are in the area. So they normally offer up to about 25,000, which is really, really good for your project and what you're looking to achieve, and they want to help local communities. We also looked at Sport England funding. Now, this has changed in recent months. We actually looked at the community asset funding, which has a maximum budget of 250,000. It's quite a detailed process, but we sort of sat down and assisted and worked together to work through the guidelines that they actually give you online. So we helped in bringing all the evidence together, all the designs, all the sort of quotes that we put together, and all the supporting information to ensure that application can be as successful as it can be.
We already had a relationship with a body called REN, and they'd given us a grant for other equipment in the village, so they were the first people that I contacted. They've got an online process, which in some ways makes things easier, although I have to admit I did struggle my way through it. That wasn't their fault, that was more my level of competence. But it was actually quite straightforward after that.
So we explored a number of funding options, but luckily enough, Norrell is in within the relevant distance of a landfill quarry. So we were eligible for REN funding, which is a particular type of funding. They have a very clear process. You're able to apply online, so it's about making sure that you register, and then they have very, very specific criteria, which is common to all funding bodies. And one of the tips I would give is make sure that you read the criteria and know what it says and know that you're going to meet it before you put your application in, because often there's very strict timelines. And once you sort of start your application, you have to get on and complete it. And if you don't meet all the criteria, then your application will be rejected.
As a committee, we do have a list of funders that we know give grants for this kind of project. REN was the obvious one because of the relationship that we already had with them, and we worked with them before and worked well with them before. They've been very good. But others are the Big Lottery. We've had funding from Tesco's groundworks before. There's Sports England are on our list. We've not had anything directly with Sports England yet, but that's definitely one to go for in the future.
Please keep an eye out on our website, on our Twitter feed, and in particular our closed group on our Facebook page, where you can talk to people in very similar circumstances to yourself and get a lot more information about consultation and funding.